Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kingdom's Queens podcast. It's been a minute since we've been with you guys. We took a week off last week because some things came up, but that is okay. We are well into the off season now, and just catching up on everything that's going on in the NFL. We are like in peak free agency. Well, actually, that was technically like the end of last week, but free agency is still well and going. So we are just going to catch up with you guys on everything that's been happening all around the NFL, and then especially within the Chiefs world of signings and all the exciting off-season things. So I am your host, Lexi.
Hey y'all, what's up? I am Jodi. I am trying to get my life in order. I just walked in the house.
Jodi had to work late, so it's okay.
A lot of things happening right now.
It's been a lot.
Okay, money got to be made. We just
listen. Listen, I support it. I support it. Speaking of, I want to just.
I'm glad that I was late though, because being late today, the Mecole Hardman news broke.
Right.
I don't know. That definitely wasn't at the top of our itinerary for the day, but literally probably like right at 6:55 p.m. The news broke that Mecole Hardman just signed a 1-year deal with the Green Bay Packers. I think it was evidently clear that we knew he was not coming back to Kansas City. But before we get into that, we got a sponsor to talk about first, because there's lots of things that we can say about that.
There's a lot to be said. And I feel like, Jodi, every time we log on to one of these during like free agency and all that kind of stuff, something always happens right before we get on our show, or like right after. It's like, literally. I don't know what it is with Tuesdays, but there's always something happening. So
it's their day off, but Beach is always working.
Oh, you got it? Alrighty, so we got our sponsor we want to get into. Speaking of, Pink Lips Cosmetics, which I just love their lip wear every time I'm on the show, because it just makes my lips pop a little with like the red background and all that fun stuff. So I used actually it's like a matte gloss I used today, or like a matte lipstick, and then I put like a lip oil over it, and it's phenomenal. We absolutely love their products. Like we always say, it's not just lipstick, even though that's in the brand name. It's like all kinds of products. It's concealer, vitamin C lip balm. We have skincare.
Foundation.
We have foundation,
pencils, all kind of good stuff. Yeah. So
all the product you could ask for.
Literally. If you guys have not been onto her website, please make sure you go onto there. It is pinklipscosmetic.com. You can use promo code KQ15 and get 15% off today.
Yes. And she's local and woman owned. And we love that. So please
love
support.
That real bad. Love that real bad. I can't wear anything lip related right now. I wish I could.
You just got your lips done. So
I just got lip filler, and she was like, do not do anything. So I'm rocking Vaseline today.
I love Vaseline too. So I know,
right? I'm like,
I wear it every night.
I'm rocking Vaseline today.
We already got the Willie campaign on here. We love to see it.
Absolutely. I don't know what's happening with my laptop, so if it kicks me out, I'll be back.
Okay.
Let's
start with around the NFL, right?
Like what happens when you take a week off. So, like we said, Mecole Hardman signed a 1-year deal with the Packers. He is out of here. Now, as you guys know, on this team, he was really just special teams, and he was like wide receiver 6 or 7. So he didn't really have like a big,
especially this last year. Yeah.
I mean, we only brought him back this year on a 1-year deal anyway.
Yeah.
So we knew that he was just going to kind of be like a gadget guy, somebody that we could literally use on the special teams. Right. Now, unfortunately, Mecole Hardman got hurt. And if you know Mecole Hardman, he's known for his injury history. I'm pretty sure he's had at least 5 injuries in his career with playing for the Chiefs. I'm going to look that up, but I'm almost pretty sure. I think it's actually like 6, but.
And it's not always like big injuries, but it's stuff that sidelines him for like a few weeks at a time or whatever.
And by a few weeks, it's like 4 to 6 weeks or the rest of the season. So it's like
this year it was the rest of the season, which was crazy.
And then the season before that, he came in halfway and he still got injured. He came in halfway through with the Jets last season for us.
Yeah.
And he still was injured. So Mecole Hardman 1-year deal. I'm very glad that somebody picked him up.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for him. I mean, I want him to get a chance somewhere else. I think the Packers too, like they're an interesting offense.
The same role there that he was here.
Right, and he'll be like a gadget guy. He'll be a speed guy. They don't have like a really strong wide receiver one still on the Packers, so I think he could have a bit of a role. I don't know. Like, I don't know how he'll fit in. And Jody's like, meh.
No, I don't. Just because
that's fine.
If you touch Mecole Hardman, if you touch him, he gets hurt. And I don't know if he's gonna be able to be healthy for 18 weeks. So
we will see.
I think that's
he will always be in Chiefs history for his touchdown in the Super Bowl in overtime. So Mecole,
many years ago.
Cemented well, 2 years ago.
Many years ago. 2 years ago. Until they win another one, I'm like,
You're like, I'm over.
I'm like, whatever. You can say the same thing for Kadarius Toney.
Oh God. Well, you can say this. Took the words right out of my mouth. So it's okay. Listen, everyone served their role here. It's time to move on, and let's see how he does in the Packers. I'm happy for him. See how he does over there.
Yeah, if you know the Chiefs, most guys that come in here, they're rentals. So you usually either come in for like 1 year, 2 years.
The current Chiefs, that's how it is. Yeah. So if you weren't drafted by it, well, and that's why he was here long, because he was drafted by us. So he came back and did his things, But anyway.
So lots of things have happened. We're just gonna kind of rattle through these.
That's
probably gonna be what the whole entire show is today, because we both actually got lots of things that we have to do. So we are in free agency, as you guys know. Free agency started last Tuesday. Monday?
Yes, indeed. Monday. No, Monday was the legal tampering, and then it started Wednesday. But everything good happens on Monday, and then Twitter crashed, and then everyone was in shambles because no one could break news or do anything, which was insane. So
yeah, I can barely remember this week, so I 100% don't remember anything that happened last week. But I think the biggest thing to talk about is Joe Thuney to the Bears. I feel like a lot of the hype has calmed down a little bit. A lot of people were super upset and super pissed off, especially because of what we received back from the Bears. But I think it's really important to know, as Chiefs fans, as you're learning how trades work in the NFL, veterans do not get what veterans are expected to get. Am I glitching for you?
A little, but your voice isn't.
Amazing. As long as my voice is fine.
Yeah.
So that's the thing you got to expect in the NFL. A lot of people who are veterans, you're not going to get the big deal that you have gotten previously. I think a lot of Chiefs fans are still hung up on the Tyreek Hill trade and everything that we received for that trade. And they now just kind of think that no matter what happens with any player, we're supposed to get that type of compensation back. And realistically, in the NFL, that is not how it works on literally any role. Like any role. Like you're not even seeing that with quarterbacks right now. So
I think when those kind of trades happen too, because it happened with Devontae was right before Tyreek, remember? So I think that was just like the year for those kind of big trades to happen and all the stuff you got back for it. And then now it's you're not going to get as much. And I will be honest to say, like, when we first traded Joe Thuney, I don't love it just because I don't fully know. I know the plan right now is to kind of go in with Kingsley Suamataia at left guard in place of him. I know we didn't get to see much of him at left tackle last season. I think Chiefs fans are all over the place with him. But I think losing Joe, I think people were expecting to maybe get like the thing is we only got a 4th round pick in 2026. So not even in this current draft. And I think that's kind of the bummer. Even for me, I would have liked to have seen us get a 2025 pick, especially because we didn't have a ton of draft picks. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a loss on our line for sure. I mean, he will be a Hall of Famer. He's won 4 Super Bowls, 2 with the Patriots and their dynasty run, and then 2 with us. So, it's tough. And it's really tough when he was such a selfless player last season and he didn't, he went into left tackle when we needed him to. And ultimately that didn't work out in the Super Bowl, but just a fantastic player. So we're going to miss Joe Thuney, and it's a bummer. I mean, losses are always going to hurt, but
Joe Thuney is definitely he's an all-pro. He's a Hall of Famer. He's getting a yellow jacket. I think that's non-debatable. Everybody kind of knows already. Now, I will say this. Joe Thuney, if he was to stay with the Chiefs, he probably only had one more year left. I could only see the Chiefs doing maybe one more year for Joe Thuney, just because, he is getting up there in age, and retirement is something that was probably near.
And I do think...
Well, I don't even want to say retirement. Let me run that back. They were not going to give him the contract that he wanted, which is why they did what they did now. You should be able to know the market based off of what they got back for him. So if that's what they got back for him in this market, then...
And the fact that he's been a part of 2 dynasties, he's earned that pay. I get it. And the Bears are desperate for O-line play right now. And because their quarterback, Caleb Williams, was most sacked in the NFL last season. So they were like, we got to pay this. And that's the other reason, too, you don't get a ton of draft picks back, is because you have to pay the contract out as well. And it's a lot of money. So
they're like, here's what you get.
Yeah.
It gets them off of our books. And I think another thing that Chiefs fans have to think about too is there are a lot of guys who have to get paid this year and next year. You have
younger guys
needs to get done. Trent McDuffie needs to get done. They just got Nick Bolton done. They didn't even keep Justin Reed again, which a lot of people thought that they were going to keep Justin Reed. They didn't keep him. He went to New Orleans and got pretty much the same exact contract that Tyrann Mathieu got when he left Kansas City to go there. One of them got 3 for $30 and the other one got 3 for $33. So they got almost the same identical contract with him going there. So, I mean, that the Chiefs are not going to give guys and I don't want to say over your 30s because Chris Jones is the anomaly in that situation, but the Chiefs aren't going to give Justin Reed 3 for 30.
Well, yeah.
And give Joe Thuney 2 for 25 or whatever his market rate is right now. That's not happening. The reason why dynasties like the Patriots are so good is because they stay young. It's because they're continuing to add younger people and create that depth. And sometimes you can't do that. You know who you're spending the money on. You're gonna spend the money on Patrick Mahomes. You're gonna spend the money on the Chris Jones. And I even think Trent McDuffie is somebody who needs to be in that conversation of somebody who is young, who is impactful, and that they can make a difference on this team for the next several years, not just the next 1 or 2 years.
Right. And I feel like we'll dive into Trent McDuffie a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, that's how dynasties are going to work. You're going to see guys that come in on 2 to 3 year deals, probably the same thing. I mean, we'll get into all of our signings too, but yeah.
I mean the guys who won the Super Bowl in 2020, those dudes are not here anymore.
Right. Hardly any of them. Yeah.
If you look back to that Super Bowl winning roster, those guys are not here anymore. So that's just kind of the trick of the trade, and that's what comes with it. So free agency, a lot happened. Geno Smith left the Seahawks, went to the Raiders, which was actually kind of it was kind of shocking, but it really wasn't at all. With Pete Carroll being on the Raiders now as the head coach, that I actually forgot that he was
literally
5 minutes ago. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So it makes sense.
We have a lot of really good coaches in our division now.
You can tell that the Niners are getting. You can tell that the Raiders are getting ready to run the same type of offense that you see that the Seahawks have. They're going to try to power it out with defense, which they've made a lot of defensive moves. And they're going to probably try to run like that more West Coast offense, like that faster pace type of game. So I'm interested to see how Pete Carroll does that with the Raiders this year. But they're definitely a team that they're
going to win more games than they did the last 2 years. So
Chiefs fans are going to be mad at me for our AFC West prediction once we get later into the off season, but the Raiders are definitely building themselves up to be a team to be reckoned with. And
they're trying to be competitive for sure.
I mean, hell, the Chiefs are trying to be competitive at this point. So I'm like, the amount of guys we lost, and until I see what this team can do after what they did in the Super Bowl, I think they have a lot of things that they need to work on offensively themselves. So I think they need to really figure it out before we go into this next season, because the Broncos and the Raiders are making a ton of moves to come for this division, hence the head coaches that are all around the AFC West now. So they might need to be serious, because it ain't what it's been the last 5 years. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, they are sick of us, but I will save my predictions for that for a while, because I need to see how a lot of this offseason plays out before I make predictions.
We still got the draft.
That's what I'm saying. We still got a lot of stuff that happens. So
Sam Darnold went to the Seahawks, which so
Gino to the Raiders, Darnold to the Seahawks.
Sam Darnold left the Vikings, went to the Seahawks, which I don't know what the Seahawks are doing right now. The only person there is JSN. I want JSN to come be a Chief.
Well, remember though, I didn't actually put this in our notes, but I just remembered they brought in Cooper Kupp too.
So yeah, okay. So they brought in Cooper Kupp
and MVS.
Yeah. So it's like JSN is clearly going to be the number one receiver on that team next year. Cooper Kupp will probably be the second unless they go out and draft another receiver. He's more so like the vet. Listen, I would love to have a triple crown in our locker room. You might not come out here and have the impactful year that the fans think you're going to have, but you're going to be able to give like that education and the coaching to the wide receiver room to get them to be more elevated, kind of like what you've seen with D-Hop on the Chiefs and how he kind of took under Xavier Worthy under his wing. So I think that's what Cooper Kupp is going to do for the Seahawks. And if you look at it that way, I don't hate it, but he's definitely going to be like the second or third option, especially if they get another receiver in the draft.
Yeah, pretty much.
Devontae Adams to the Rams. And so I was genuinely confused because they kept saying back to Cali. And I'm like, is he from California? And then I was like, oh, he is. Got it.
Yeah.
Because I could not understand why they kept doing the going back to Cali reference. I was like, he was literally with the Raiders, and the Raiders are in
he's from Northern, right? He's from Northern California.
Yeah, he went to
Fresno State, right? Is it Fresno State?
I think he went to Fresno State. Yeah, I think you're right.
So. With Derek.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to you for going to Fresno State. So I get the whole going back to Cali thing. I love it. They gave him a pretty good deal too. I don't have his contract details in front of me, but they gave Devontae
It is a good deal. Yeah.
And I think that this is like Devontae Adams is also one of those receivers that's extremely good, but he's getting up there in age. So this could be one of his last like hoorahs with the Rams. But I cannot wait to see Sean McVay dial up for Devontae Adams.
Oh my gosh.
He is the second best operational.
He and Puka Nacua together. Like,
yeah, that's going to be great. And just so y'all know, Puka normally wore 17, and he gave his number up to, I think he switched to
12.
2. Oh, I'm like 2, 12.
Yeah.
I was like, I know there's a 2 in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He gave Devontae Adams 17, which I'm sure he paid a nice little penny for, because I'm not just giving you this.
So they're claiming that Puka just gave it up because he wanted to go back to 12, which was his old number. I was like,
I doubt it. I mean, but he could have did that before Devontae Adams got there.
Listen, I don't know.
He could have did that before Devontae Adams got there. And
Hard to say.
he's a vet, so he knows he has to give him at least something, even if it's just like dinner or something. He knows that he has to give
He's
him
got to do something. Yeah, come on.
The amount of money in revenue that is in Puka Nakua 17, ain't no way they just let him give that up for free, because the Rams now have to rebrand all of that.
Right.
So
like,
I'm like,
no
marketing, everything. There's no way that he was just
I also like, okay, I have a question. Are you a fan of changing jersey numbers after a few years once like everyone has your jersey number? Like,
no.
even if, let's say it was Puka's choice and he just went to 12.
Yeah.
Regardless. I don't like it.
I'm not a fan of that. Now, I will say I also have Trent McDuffie 21.
I know you do. Yeah.
And the one time I wore it, we lost. So I was like, okay, I can never ever wear
that again.
But it just shows that I'm a loyal Trent McDuffie fan, because I'm a 21 Trent fan.
You're 21.
So, but no, I hate the jersey number. Actually, I don't want to say I hate it. Okay, wait. I hate it because I've worked in sports merchandising for a very, 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 very long time. So I remember the hell of switching.
Of going through that. Players. Yeah.
If I did not work in sports merchandising or sports apparel for like almost 7-8 years, then I wouldn't care. I don't
know. I haven't, and I don't love it. So
when I tell you, when Des Bryant got fired from, well, let me not say fired. They did not give him another contract.
Yeah.
When that happened with the Cowboys, and I had to put, do you know how much Des Bryant apparel there is?
Oh, so much. I can't
that's like Travis Kelce jerseys. They're everywhere. There's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands.
It's everywhere.
Multiple colorways and t-shirts and hats and short. Oh, God bless. So when they stopped with Des Bryant, and I had to go into all my locations and pull all of.
See?
That was like the biggest hell. Anyway, so no. Please, nobody change your numbers anytime soon. Greatly appreciate that. So after rumors and rumors and rumors of Joey Bosa is absolutely going to go to the Niners, it didn't happen. He went to the Bills. So, I'm very interested to see like what's going on with the Bills this year. Von Miller's not coming back. They brought Joey Bosa back. Joey Bosa's only healthy for like 8 or 9 games a year.
So yeah, and then they brought in like 2 other D-line guys. Ogunjobi, Larry Ogunjobi.
Oh yeah,
his name. And then Michael Hoyt, I want to say is his last name. I'm not sure. He's from the Rams. They brought both of them in, and they knew this about Michael, but they didn't know this about Ogunjobi, is that they both are facing suspensions for PEDs to start the season. So both of them are going to miss the first 6 games on suspension.
Did they already say they're missing those games?
Yep. Yeah. It's already been like, because PEDs, it's right away. You're suspended like.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But you said they didn't know it.
So that's the Bills. The Bills only knew about the Michael Hoyt guy off the Rams. They didn't know about Ogunjobi until after they brought him on. So
sucks for them.
I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, Joey Bosa's there too. So, but yeah, like you said,
maybe he can play on the days that they're not.
But they're not. Maybe he'll be healthy to start the season. But we, as Chiefs fans, have seen him for 9 years or whatever it's been on the Chargers. And I think we've like seen Mahomes face him like a handful of times. And we faced him twice a year. So that just tells you anything about his injury history. But maybe it'll be a fresh start. Who knows? I have no idea. But Joey Bosa of the Bills doesn't move me. I don't think it does much more than them having like Vaughn when they added him 3 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. When Von Miller went there, he was impactful for like maybe 4 total games.
Like, yeah, maybe some in the first season, and then it's kind of nothing.
He tore his Achilles one year, and then he was out for like his second year.
Yeah, he has
the year he signed his contract, he tore his Achilles or something like that, and he was out for like more.
Oh yeah, and he was like, "We'll be back better." Yeah, I don't know.
And I was just like, "Holy God bless! What in the world?" So yeah, that was very interesting to see. So again, all of these. If free agency teaches you nothing, the AFC is working to beat the Chiefs. The Eagles did it. The Eagles kind of gave everybody like what the formula looks like to beat Kansas City. And now teams are going out and they're trying to do that because the Chiefs are still going to be the juggernaut team that you have to beat. But a lot of teams are making moves faster than the Chiefs are making moves. So
yeah.
keep that in mind. Next, Derek Green. So everybody and their mama left the Niners. I think it's easier to start there. So they lost.
And also, wait, I want to say really quick, I think that's partially why Joey Bosa didn't go there, because he saw the vision and he's like, I don't have a better chance of winning there than I do at the Bills.
Yeah, leave the NFC. And
so yeah. Anyway, go continue. But that was my thought.
Leave the NFC and come to the AFC. Sure. So the Niners have lost Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga, Joey Bosa. What's his name? Who went to the Commanders? I love him. Went to the Commanders. Receiver.
Debo.
Debo. They lost.
Sorry, I was thinking defense. I was like,
no. And then they also lost. They lost one more person. Actually,
they lost a ton.
So the Niners.
Oh, they lost Jordan Mason to the Minnesota Vikings, then Elijah Mitchell to us.
Yes. So it's evidently clear that the Niners right now are in a rebuild.
They did sign Demarcus Robinson. I kind of forgot about that.
I actually hate that because I really wanted him to come back to Kansas City.
I know.
That's okay. I feel like we could have got him on a cheap 2-year deal back in Kansas City, and he would have been a great 3 or 4 here.
Right.
Especially during the Rashee Rice suspension, he would have been a great substitute. But
and then they released Kyle Juszczyk and then brought him right back, so it didn't really count.
I think that was. I kind of laughed at that because I was like, I'm interested. I'll shoot my shot on Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah.
I would shoot my shot on him, but I feel like they had to release them to maybe free up some cap, and then they just brought him back.
And then rework it all. Yeah.
I'm almost 100% positive that's what that was.
They did let him meet with the Steelers, but
because he probably didn't think he was necessarily going back.
Yeah, I don't know. But then they were like, well.
So the Niners, they're definitely in a rebuild, but I also 100% know that a reason why they got rid of a lot of these guys is because they have to pay Brock. Brock is due for a contract. So, and if you guys have not seen the market, he's probably going to get $60 million a year. So the reason why it's been so great for the Niners is because they haven't had to pay a quarterback for the last few years. So they could have all these big name guys on their team.
Right. They had a great roster.
But now they can't do that, right? So that's the main reason why Debo left. Debo got paid a big contract a few years ago, and then they gave a big contract to Brandon Ayuk. And then now
we ended his season last year.
Literally. So now it's okay, what do we have to do? So they actually, the thing with the Niners is they actually need to hurry up and get Brock Purdy done so they can see how much money they're working with so they can bring more guys in. Now, I do think they have a decent amount of draft picks this year. I'm pulling it up right now.
They better because, dear Lord.
So I do think that it's a possibility that they're just praying to draft well, which a lot of teams right now are kind of in a situation to where why in the hell?
I feel like that's the Bengals too. Bengals need to draft very well.
Bengals need to go all defense and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the 49ers have 11 draft picks.
That's pretty good. They
definitely, as long as they do it right, and I think they hit it on the head last year. I think they had a pretty good draft last year. Especially with Ricky. I think Ricky was a great first round pick for them, besides what happened to him. But I think he was
horrible
for him. Yeah. He came back and played and balled out. So
yeah, I think he'll have a great year too. Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's where the Niners are. Is they're just rebuilding. They could make it real nice to draft a quarterback.
They might, honestly. I don't love that Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga both went to the Broncos, because the Broncos already have a freaking stellar defense all over the board, and they needed a linebacker, and they wanted Nick Bolton. Now, thank God we kept Nick Bolton, but Dre Greenlaw was their backup, and they took Dre.
To the stadium.
Yeah. So,
and Chiefs fans are mad that we signed Nick Bolton, and the Broncos were going to give him
I'm like,
Mile High Stadium.
Do y'all realize? Like, no, it's great that we re-signed Nick.
Like, hello?
Talanoa Hufanga is a very good safety as well. So, man, those are great signings for the Broncos. I hate it.
Like I said earlier, I'm gonna hold my takes on the AFC West until later.
Don't say it. You're gonna scare me. Don't say it.
Teams like the Broncos and the Raiders, they are sick of the Chiefs. And if the Chiefs don't get it together offensively, and if the coaching don't get it together offensively, and if they can't start developing some of these line guys, especially on the offensive line.
Listen, full transparency. I don't love that we made zero adjustments on it.
Transparent conversation.
Oh, huh? I think you got.
Oh yeah, no.
Wait, can you hear me? Okay, full transparency. I was gonna say I don't love that the Chiefs made zero changes on their offensive staff.
Yeah,
because it's been this way for 2 years in a row. I mean, it's been 2 years in a row of semi-poor offensive play, and we made zero changes once again because, listen, I love Andy Reid to death, but he does not make big changes unless it's like, I don't know, which I thought after that Super Bowl you might, but no. So he hasn't made like a huge change like that since Bob Sutton. So anyway. So we're stuck.
And people wonder why he's not with the Eagles anymore, right? Because he's very like stubborn, and the Chiefs, they stick with their guys.
And win.
That is not good.
And you're mid-dynasty, so there's not a lot you can say, but it's definitely like I would love to have seen a change on either offensive coordinator, O-line coach, just some kind of shake up somewhere in there, even receiver coach. Like, yeah.
Both.
But we're stuck with Nagy and Heck. So, yeah, well.
We'll talk about Heck probably as we get closer to the draft, because that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
So we just
keep going on our list.
Broncos, Najee Harris to the Chargers. I actually like that a lot for the Chargers, and people are like, "Oh, he's not that great." No, he wasn't that great with the Steelers as of late.
That's me. I'm people. I'm people.
I think he'll be really good in a completely different offense. I actually think Hard Knocks revealed a lot about the Steelers last year, and I was like, hello? Like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
I personally, if I was a Steelers fan and I watched last season, I would be like, yes, Mike Tomlin is cool, and he is a vibe, and he's a defensive coach. I get it. But what the hell is happening on the offense here? So yeah.
They haven't had a good offense in a long time.
Well, that's what happens when your head coach is a defensive head coach and not an offensive head coach, which means they should also be making different changes in their offensive coaching areas, and they are not. Which is why Najee has not been as great as he is. People talk about George Pickens for being a crash out, even though he's a great receiver. If you don't have great coaches to keep you in check, whose problem is that? So now
there's like not a lot of accountability last season.
No. So that's why I'm like, I think him in a new system, being out in California, especially kind of seeing like what Harbaugh is like kind of creating there.
He loves to run the ball. So
he does. And he's not even going to be like the one there. I definitely think that they're going to try to do like the power back duo thing, blah, blah, blah. But probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Najee Harris had a great season next year. With that being said,
you could be right.
The Steelers have shaken it up like completely. They are having one of the best free agencies I have seen so far. They have brought in a
minus the most important position of all, which is quarterback.
Yeah, they don't know who's
from that.
They don't know who's throwing the ball.
Aside from that, they've been great, but no quarterback is anyway.
Yeah, they're still. We can get
well, just okay. Say the first one first. Yeah.
So the Steelers are they're doing great. They went out and they got DK Metcalf and they gave him a crazy, insane contract, which DK can really still be that guy if he's in the right offense. And I think him leaving Seattle is not necessarily a bad thing. I think him and Mike Tomlin can really create something good there. I feel like last year, one of the biggest issues for the Steelers was their receivers kept dropping the ball. And you had, God bless you had guys like George Pickens who couldn't even catch the damn ball. Not only was he not catching the ball, everybody's corners were shutting him down, and all he did was get upset and he threw a fit. Like, what are you doing, George Pickens? So, I mean, I definitely think it's important that they get a leader in there too as a receiver. And I think that DK will be able to go in there and provide some true leadership too, and maybe help George Pickens. It's either going to help or they both going to be fighting on the 50. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. Because DK can be a hothead too.
I was going to say.
I think with the amount of money that he got, and I'm pretty sure that the conversations that the whole entire Steelers coaching staff, especially Mike Tomlin, he was like, you need to come in here and you need to be a leader. We're going to give you this much money. You need to lead. And I think that, especially now, because like, has Russell Wilson signed anywhere yet?
No. So the problem,
I bet
the biggest problem is no other than, of course, Aaron Rodgers holding every team hostage because the Giants and the Steelers and now the Vikings apparently want him, and he has not given any decision.
But the Vikings just went and got no, they don't have a quarterback.
No, they have JJ McCarthy, but
oh, I think they should just roll with Jay. I think JJ.
I mean, I do too, but the thing is,
better. They probably want to bring a veteran in.
But I mean, I get that, and like I get like the thing of like Brett Favre and yada yada yada, whatever. But I feel like you have this kid JJ who missed his first season due to injury, but they just say all the time in the media how much they love him. But this Aaron Rodgers rumor came out like a few days ago, and they have not said a thing, which makes me feel like if they're definitely aware of the rumors, so why are they not? It makes me think they are interested in him a little bit.
I'm sure I'm sure that there's been a conversation. Like, if Aaron Rodgers is open to talk to the Vikings, I'm sure the Vikings are going to listen to what he has to say.
But but then you have like
the problem is he's going to want full control of like the offense, and I don't think KOC will give him that. You're on mute.
I don't know how that happened. I said, who wouldn't want to throw to like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison? You have a fantastic team in TJ Hawkinson. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like that's an appealing place to go for a quarterback right now. But I think it sucks because then like guys like Russell Wilson,
he won't have to be out in the cold.
Yeah. But guys like Russell Wilson, then it's like it's hindering where he goes, and yeah, I don't know. It's just a mess. But
I wouldn't be surprised if Russ went back to the Steelers for like a 1-year deal, especially because of the relationship that him and DK already have.
That too.
I feel like if him for 1 year.
And because I think the next year's quarterback draft is going to be so much better. So have a serviceable quarterback with Russ and let your season.
But I also feel like the Steelers have made so many moves this offseason.
But they need a quarterback.
They've definitely made some really good offensive and defensive moves. Like the AFC North is not anything to play with. And like you can't lose games in the AFC North. And I feel like the AFC West is slowly starting to get to that point. But in the AFC North, if you lose one game, then you don't win the division. So I think that the Steelers have done really good with like grabbing a lot of people on both sides of the ball. I think they're still going to have a really good draft. I want to know how many draft picks.
I kind of think if the Steelers don't land Aaron Rodgers, I think
they have 7 picks.
They'll go with Russ. They have 7?
So, yep, the Steelers have 7 picks, which is really pretty freaking nice, considering all of the moves. No, I do not want to subscribe to the Steelers. Thank you. They got a first, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh. They literally have one in every round. So they could be definitely set. Oh, sorry. Nope. They don't have their second anymore. They traded it for DK Metcalf. One.
Oh yeah.
So they have 6 now. Sorry. So
they got to nail their
draft. Terrible. I don't think trading a 6 for DK is. A second for DK is bad at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just need to figure out their quarterback situation. But then it's also like, who else is available that could possibly go there? Like, there's not a ton of quarterbacks
not much
right now.
Mm-mm. And the quarterback draft class is pretty weak.
Yeah.
They either need Russ or Aaron. So we'll see. Oh yeah, because Justin Fields went to the Jets.
And Jameis Winston went where?
Somewhere.
He's meeting with somebody. Well, he ain't going to Minnesota. We know that.
Let's see.
Mac Jones is available.
No, he signed. Mac Jones is on the Niners. He signed with the Niners.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. I missed that in all the chaos. That's my fault.
Apparently, Jameis visited.
Did Drew not go anywhere?
No. And Jameis visited the Giants today, but left without a deal. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are also just kind of doing interviews too right now.
Yeah, because they're all waiting for freaking Aaron Rodgers. So.
Which I wouldn't. If I was an NFL team, I would not be waiting on Aaron Rodgers. What? You want Aaron Rodgers to just come there for 1 year and then what? Leave after next year or get injured?
Pretty
like,
much.
No. Like, I'm not building my franchise based on Aaron Rodgers who cannot even figure out if the sun is out. Like, I'm not doing that. So there's definitely more to come with the Steelers because they're definitely going to make another move. But I'm just so ready for the draft. I hate this gap.
I know.
This gap is terrible because, like, let's just freaking get to it and know who's going to be on what team.
The next month is going to be brutal.
God bless.
Yeah.
So the Bengals figured out a way to get it done. Everybody.
Oh my God.
I am everybody. We're like, there's no way they're going to figure out a way to pay T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And you know what? They did. And you know what? Shout out to you for paying 2 receivers top of the market money and a quarterback top of the market money. And now you have no defense. What are you doing with Trey Hendrickson? He gonna end up on the Commanders. He gonna end up on the Patriots.
I don't know why that's moving so slow. The Trey Hendrickson thing, because I don't know.
Well, because you know that he was probably just waiting around because he thought he was going to get a contract. Because if I'm the Bengals, I'm probably paying Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson, not T.
Higgins. But it's like, I think what happened is I feel like T and Jamar kind of went in there and held him kind of hostage. Like, they got the same agent. They're like, I think they all went in like, this is what you do. If not, we're going to leave. I don't know. I don't know the whole plan.
Well, the Bengals are soft because you can't tell me what to do. We're not paying both of them. So which one do you want us to give us money to?
But
should have went about it.
Not how they did it. And I think their biggest problem is that what happened with Carson Palmer years ago, and they lost him. And now I think they don't want that to happen with Joe Burrow. So they're like, we got to make our quarterback happy. So it's basically Joe Burrow, the GM / owner.
So I want to say that I have been busy.
That city would riot if they lost Joe and Jamar. And
because I would lose my shit if we lost Pat.
Yeah.
So
I'd riot.
But all right. Now I'm gonna be messy because I can and it's the off season.
Okay.
Ain't no way. Did Tyreek Hill get paid? No.
Went from us? No.
Right. Tyreek Hill did not get paid from Kansas City because Patrick Mahomes is like that. Patrick Mahomes got top of the market money because he's a great effing quarterback, explicit, which means you could give him Demarcus Robinson or whoever and he's gonna go out and elevate those guys as he's
You
done.
can get him MVS and Tony and Sky and Juju. Not that I love Juju, but like the rest, I mean, it's just, and
you can elevate those players because of who your quarterback is.
Yeah.
Now, me being messy and watching Twitter because I love watching mess, everyone is like, oh, so is Joe Burrow really just not that good of a quarterback? Because why do you feel like you have to pay $2 million? And I was like, I never thought of it that way, but maybe that's very truthful, because why would you put almost Jamar Chase got $161 million, and I think his GTD was, what was his guarantee? 55. What was his guarantee money?
Oh God.
Jamar Chase is the highest paid non-quarterback. T. Higgins, $115 million for 4 years. I have been I don't care about the Bengals players, but I haven't even had a chance to really dive into their contracts to see like what the cap hits are for the next 4 years, if there's even out for the next 4 years, how that is going to affect. So like, do these two dudes know that they're going to have to restructure over the next 2 years?
Jodi,
if they want to keep people?
Jamar Chase's deal was 4-year, 161 million. He's guaranteed 112 million.
For how many years? 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that's right though. Yeah.
And then T is only guaranteed his first 2 years.
Which, okay, that's
115 million. So
Jamar getting 112 over 4-year guarantee, that breaks down to about 28 APY. Most people were thinking that his number was going to be closer to 30. So that would be Jamar taking a deal to make sure that T got paid, because most people were expecting Jamar to get close to 29 to 30. So for him to come in at 28, which still 28 is the highest pay when it comes to a receiver, that's good, because I think Justin Jefferson's is only like 27 something, like 27.8 or something like that. So that's on brand. So for T. Higgins to have a 2-year out, that means he better play his butt off and not get injured in the next 2 years, or otherwise
he's dealt with some injuries. Like he's had his share of
Jamar's had some injuries as well.
Yeah.
But that doesn't even include the fact that like Joe Burrow,
he has a $55 million cap.
Right. So I'm gonna assume that they're gonna do with Joe Burrow what the Chiefs just did with Pat, and they're gonna restructure him, and he's gonna take less money this year, because there's no way that they're gonna be able to.
Yeah, I don't
go get any depth pieces for any other area unless they do that. They're spending all of their money on 3 people, which I get it. The Chiefs are currently spending a lot of money on 3 people too. Chris Jones, Tris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, and Creed Humphrey. So the Chiefs are also doing that right now too. But that's another conversation.
But
because you're spending it on areas that actually will develop
very specific areas, and Creed Humphrey actually.
Well, that's what most teams do. So I don't understand what the Bengals are doing.
Well, I think that everyone's thing is like we saw this offense last year, and yes, you guys are phenomenal, but you haven't upholstered your O-line any more than you did last year, so that's a problem.
You didn't even make the playoffs.
And then you guys missed the playoffs. You had the offense was great.
They were phenomenal. They didn't make the playoffs.
Well, I know they were good. You can't deny it.
Average like everybody else. You didn't make the playoffs. 7 other teams got in. Y'all didn't.
Sorry. I get it, but I think that's a big part is on their defense and their defensive scheme, and
they did
it because that offense was putting up crazy numbers, but a lot of it was like stat padding at the end because you had to try to make these Hail Marys and these
just like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Just like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Don't even. Right. We at least made the Super Bowl. But
I at least know that I got Chris Jones on my team. Who's on your defense right now leading y'all? Nobody.
They don't even have Hendrickson. Well, so that's what I also think is interesting is like it's a completely different approach than the Chiefs took for their dynasty, which, like you said, was trading Tyreek Hill for a plethora of picks, which they could have done with T or they could have done with Jamar. I mean, God, if they traded Jamar, they would have gotten
a whole. It would have looked. He probably would have got more than Tyreek Hill.
Oh, absolutely, because he's younger.
Yeah,
But
and he just got around.
instead, they just paid the offense that missed the last 2 playoffs, and you didn't do anything to your O-line. You didn't do much at all to your defense. So and Bengals fans are like, oh, well, everyone's going to eat crow when they see our defense is good next year. I'm like, you guys have to nail every single draft pick. You have to get some kind of offensive guard because you have no O-line.
They have not been to the playoffs in 2 years.
2 years. They missed 2 years in a row with this offense. So while you guys might put up some fun stats, but like that's about it.
You don't get to talk to me. I don't care.
So
don't care. And the AFC is only getting better. Hence, for some reason, CJGJ is now with the Texans, and nobody in America thought that was happening. Who even knew that he was like interviewing? Did anybody even know that he was a trade option? No, that was Laremy Tunsil.
No.
But CJGJ went to Chauncey Gardner. Well, it's entirely too many names. He left the Eagles and went to the Texans, and I think that's a great.
Just call him CJGJ.
I think that, but everybody don't know who that is. I think that's a great move for the Texans, especially because they lost Laremy Tunsil to the Commanders. So if you're going to lose a big piece like that, you're going to have to get another piece back. So I kind of like what they did there. I do think that, they both were due for paydays. So good for them. And they both went to teams that are going to be in the playoffs next season. Great for them. And I do think that like CJGJ will be great under D'Amico
Ryans.
God bless. I think that he's going to be great under him because
they're already great. So
yeah, and he's a defensive head coach. Like if they can figure out their offense and what's happening there, the Texans have everything it takes to be a really, really great football team.
But it's really
a matter of getting that offense together.
But their O-line was terrible last season. CJ Stroud was sacked a ton, and they haven't really done anything, and they traded away Laremy Tunsil to the Commanders. So
so maybe they plan on having a good draft. Now, I mean, the Texans, they have had good drafts the last 2 years.
They haven't?
They have. The Texans have had good drafts the last 2 years. They've been very successful. They have. No. They have. Okay. 7? No. God bless internet. God bless. 1, 2, 3. They have 1, 2. They have 7 picks this year. 1, 2.
Okay.
They have 7 picks this year. So good for them. They have a 1, a 3, a 5. Oh, sorry. They have a 1, a 2, 2 3s, a 5, and 2 7s. So I would not be surprised if they did like what they did 2 years ago in the draft. They're definitely going to be aggressive and try to move up into the draft and give some picks away. That worked out very well for them. So, don't be surprised if you see them do something very similar to that this year to focus hopefully on the O-line. I mean, we know that the tackle class ain't good. Every tackle looks like a guard this year in the draft. So I'm interested to see how the Texans plan on going about that because they definitely need to figure out a way to protect CJ.
I was told by a few Texans fans that they drafted a left tackle like a year or two ago that they think could start. So I guess we'll just see how that plays out.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck to him and to Kingsley Sumamatai.
Pretty much.
And Aaron Rodgers is just being Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So Chiefs free agency. A lot of things happened in Kansas City for the last 10 days. Lots of things have happened. McCole Hardman to the Packers, Joe Thuney to the Bears. DeAndre Hopkins signed a 1-year deal with the Ravens. So I knew he wasn't coming back to Kansas City. I also feel like D-Hop, I think if he would have had a full off season in Kansas City and went through a full training camp and was here week 1 and not week 5 or 6 or whatever week he came, 7.
Yeah.
things could have definitely played out differently, and maybe the Chiefs would have thought about bringing him back. But I think we all seen the writing on the wall and knew that he wasn't going to come back, which is fine. But him going to the Ravens.
And the Ravens have wanted him for a while, I guess.
Yeah, they wanted him last year too, but they went and got
Deontay Johnson. And I think I think he wants to go play with Derrick Henry again. So I get it.
Yeah,
but
sure, whatever.
We saw D-Hop is what he is right now. So I don't know.
I think he is definitely just trying to get as many dollars as possible. I mean, the Ravens are definitely going to be a contender next year. So
they always are.
They're definitely going to be a contender next year. So
Yep.
Do they only have... Okay, that was annoying. Is this right?
What are you looking at?
Oh, the Ravens have is that right? That's not right.
What?
The Ravens have 11 picks?
They might. They haven't done much in free agency, so.
I don't think that's right. I'm going to look somewhere else. I think they're lying.
You think they're lying?
Yeah, I don't believe it.
The Bills do. The Bills have like 11 picks.
So, as we also know, we kind of talked about it like briefly too. Justin Reed went to the Saints. He is
of course,
Kansas City. I mean, he is a New Orleans Chief.
Yeah. Joining the rest of our Chiefs there, our past Chiefs.
Yes. Yeah, one. The Ravens have 11 picks.
No.
They got 4 comp picks. That's why.
Oh, that's We got 3. We got 3, I think, right?
We got 2.
2.
3. We got 2. We have 6 picks. We have 8. 2 in the.
We do have the Mr. Irrelevant pick, which I think is fun. If they keep it there, I don't know if they will, but
I hope they trade him.
I kind of love it. Last time we got our kicker, so I don't know. Justin Reed said on Kay Adams that he was like very close to signing with the Eagles, which it's interesting. But ultimately, they didn't have enough cap space, and he couldn't make it work. But he was
lie all the time. I just want to make that true. I just want y'all to know that people say how much they love you, and then they go to your enemy.
Like immediately.
And we're gonna be real transparent. Justin Reed is old. Sorry. This is probably his last contract as well.
Probably.
So can't wait to see him and Tyrann Mathieu play next to each other again.
Well, he was trying to convince himself. He's like, look, it's like the Louisiana boys. We're building a super team. I'm like, okay. With Derek Carr? Sure.
Best of luck, Justin. Do not unblock me. Derek Nottie to the Jets. Me and Lexi actually just talked about this on Monday. We were literally just like, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't come back. Because this season was very lukewarm for him.
It was not good.
Super hot. He was never cold, but he was never just like stand out great, amazing. So
no. He was always just like a good depth player, nothing more. He actually, Derek Nottie had a great season last season. Not great, I would say a good season. Yeah.
2 seasons ago, not last.
Sorry. 2 seasons ago. Last season was a big step down for whatever reason.
But as we remember him coming into the season, he was hurt in training camp. So I knew like him being hurt coming into training camp and to seeing like how that transitioned to the regular season, I was like, okay, this is something to watch out for. And he never really just had like that power that I kind of expected to see from him over this year, especially compared to like the year previously. So seeing him go to the Jets, I was like, okay. Joshua Uche, who played literally like 4 quarters for us, signed with the Eagles. And I think that's hilarious because he's gonna go crazy with them.
Of course, that's just how it goes. He's gonna whatever.
I think they're gonna figure out a way to use him, and he'd be great.
So. He's gonna sack Mahomes when we play him in the regular season. So,
I mean, he did it when he played with the Patriots. So. Turk Wharton, very happy for him. Got a huge payday.
Yes, very well deserved.
Panthers. The thing is we told y'all all season long how great he has been. He had way more positive games than negative games. Yeah. He did just enough as a UDFA to come in here to ball out to go get the biggest contract of his life. So I am over the moon excited and happy for Turk.
Facts. Same.
Because he deserves every single freaking penny.
And I feel like the Panthers, like last year being traded to them, I would have been like, oof.
Let's remember what happened to the Panthers after they played Kansas City.
I mean, that's what I mean. They found a little stride.
And they had a really good draft last year. And they had a really good freaking the Panthers. Oh yeah, they got our favorite country person. They went and got the one who eats raccoon.
Oh, Leggett.
Xavier Leggett. They went and got I cannot remember their draft off the top of my head, but they went out and got some really good picks in this last draft. And this year they got 9.
They've had a semi-good offseason too, so I'm excited to see what they do next year. We will see.
Oh yeah, the Panthers have 9 picks this year.
It's good. Yeah.
They got 3 in the 5th.
They're headed for more success, I think. So we'll see.
Yeah. Why don't y'all give us one of them 5s and we'll give y'all 2 7s, Carolina. But they have a lot of picks this year. And like I said, they had a really good draft last year. They're going out and they're getting those pieces. And you started seeing their upside after they played the Chiefs and they started kind of winning more and more games.
They found some confidence.
Let's not lose our number, let's not lose our pick in the first round because we want to start winning games. But I am very excited to see what their season's going to be this year. I think they're definitely going to win way more games than they won last year.
I agree. And I think finally Bryce Young found his confidence, like you said. Yeah. So I'm excited for them next season.
He was kind of like CJ Stroud last year. His O-line was trying to kill him, and Bryce only weighs 28 pounds. So it's like you got to have somebody out there that's going to protect him. Otherwise, he's going to die.
Yeah. Yep.
Justin Watson to the Texans, which I'm going to be honest, I didn't think the Chiefs would ever let Justin Watson go. So to see him leave, I was like, really?
No, I had a feeling this would be the time. I kind of thought, I was like, it makes sense. But listen,
he didn't do much for us at all last season. So
especially towards the end, it was just our offense was just weird though last year. But he always was good for like 1 or 2 plays a game that you're just like, hell yeah, he came down with that deep ball, 40 yards, 40.
Absolutely, Justin Watson, 2 for 63. Like that's always what his stat line was.
Yeah, always
2 for 55. Okay, like whatever. And then Samaje Perine back to the Bengals. So that one kind of caught me off guard. Well, no, it didn't catch me off guard. But I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Now I will say, very, very happy because the Chiefs made a ton of moves as well. But there are some notable free agents for Kansas City that are still not back yet. So Charles Omenihu, that's a whole list of drama there. We don't know. Well, if you guys listen to Weird Games Only today with Nate Taylor and them, shout out to KCSN. Nate said it's really all dependent on what happens to Aaron Rodgers. And I was like, how does that relate to Charles Omenihu? But then I was like, okay, I get it. Because if he goes there, then we know that is probably one of the biggest. Minnesota. We know that that's also one of the biggest opportunities for Arizona. They need an edge. And they got money. They can pay him, and Justin Jefferson can restructure and all of that. Mm-hmm. Mike Pennell is still out there. We don't know what's happening with him. I think that's going to be something that we figure out after the draft. I don't think that's a before draft thing. I think that's an after the draft thing.
Right, I agree.
It's really just fully dependent on how the board falls for Kansas City. And then Willie Gay, I think all of Chiefs Kingdom is trying to bully Beach into getting Willie Gay back. And I'm like the number one supporter of bullying Brett Beach to bring Willie Gay back.
Me
It
too,
also
me
sounds
too.
like it's very clear that he wants to be back in Kansas City. He
Mhm.
loves it here. If you guys followed Willie Gay like at all in the season, him and
Colin.
Colin Saunders, all they did was just like have Kansas City's back, even in like the regular season. And it was
Yeah.
great to see them come to Kansas City, the Saints come to Kansas City this year, and play the Chiefs in a really tough game. So, beating the table for Willie Gay, I think that also may be a signing that if it happens, it's going to happen after the draft. I think they just want to really go out
Yeah.
and see what they can do and what they can get. I'm sure teams are calling Willie too, because he has a market. So I'm
But if
sure teams are calling, but I bet
right,
he's kind of like holding out and waiting.
I
Uh,
think so.
but if the number is right and the Chiefs don't move fast enough, don't be surprised if Willie is on another team because we might be taking too long.
And
So yeah.
that's where it gets hard, but I do think he does want to be here, so it kind of depends what outweighs the other. Like if you're gonna get that money, but I think he was I think bringing Nick back, we have Drew, we have Leo. I think adding Willie back into it gives you that depth. He knows the defense well. He has the
He
speed.
needs depth so bad.
And
It's
I
not even
think
funny.
right, and he was the piece I think we were missing this last year in our linebacker room, to be honest with you. I think we rolled with Drew and Leo and Nick, and they were missing a little bit of something. Like Drew didn't ever find his role. Like I feel like Drew did better when Willie played.
He gained too much weight.
So
Drew Tranquil gained too much weight this offseason
I
too.
don't, yeah, but so I just think bringing Willie Gay back, I think he'll be a good price, and I think he wants to be here. I think why not? That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if he'll be a good price or Veach is not gonna move his number. I think Veach has the number and he's gonna stick to it,
He
and that's
probably knows his market already because it's been 2 weeks now. So
well,
I don't
which is
know,
why I say like
or a week and a half.
I think the draft needs to hurry up and happen because once the draft happens, I think we need to just know that a lot of NFL teams are going to start making way more moves because
Yeah,
they might not have got that piece that they thought they got in the draft.
exactly.
There are some guys out there that are still good enough to
Yeah,
go get for cheap. I will say if the Chiefs wait until after the draft, they may be able to get him for cheaper. But I think it's really going to come down to negotiations on if other teams are looking for LBs too. The Chiefs
yeah.
are definitely desperate on the defensive line, period. Linebackers, edges, everything that you can
Oh
think
my
of.
God, yeah.
We have no depth right now. And so which
Nothing.
I think kind of goes to our point that we said a few weeks ago before the combine that this is going to be a defensive heavy draft for the Chiefs. After seeing some of the moves that were made, which we'll get into really quickly after these promos, I think that they went and they did get some of the offensive guys. They went out and got a tackle. They went out and brought back another running back, which we'll get into in a second. So when you see like some of the offensive things that they did, it just made me really, really think this whole entire draft is going to be defense.
Like mainly defense for sure.
Yes, all defense.
I think we might
reach and go up and get somebody.
I think like if anything, I could see us taking a running back at some point because it's such a deep class and Veach was excited about it. And I could also see us taking some kind of offensive line position if the right person falls to us. So those are my only offensive things I could see. I mean, maybe a wide receiver if the position value is too good, but other than that,
go get a receiver. I would not be shocked if Veach went receiver like in round one. I would be like,
right. And then I think mostly, but like majority will be defense. But yeah,
I think that now just because of
depends
everything going on with the receivers, we got 2 receivers that could be suspended. We don't know what's happening with the receivers. So I would not be surprised if Veach went out and got another receiver in the first round.
Yeah.
Time for a quick break. Let's get into it. We got Autograph. Please make sure you download the Autograph app. It is available on Apple Store and Google Store. It is a highlighted yellow promotion, but on the Autograph app, you can get ready to literally watch all of March Madness. I'm already starting. It starts like next week. I filled out 4 brackets today. I'm very happy about my brackets. 2 men, 2 women before you start judging me. But you're going to be able to keep track of everything that is happening with the games going on the Autograph app, including we're getting ready to get into baseball season. Opening day is literally next week, and I cannot freaking wait. You'll be able to watch your favorite MLB teams on there too. You can listen to all podcasts that are linked to them as well. And you can purchase tickets on there for super, super cheap. Download the Autograph app and use promo code Kingdoms Queens.
And you also earn points for listening to our podcast through their app. And then you can get all kinds of other rewards and things with those points. So just consider it if you're going to listen to our podcast. Listen through Autograph. Earn some points.
That real bad. Underdog Fantasy. So shout out to the state of Missouri for passing legalized sports gambling, but then not letting us have it. So, because the state of Missouri is that way, you can go ahead and download the Underdog Fantasy app. Right now, if you download the app, you can use promo codes Kingdoms Queens, and we will match your deposit up to almost $1,000. So please download the Underdog Fantasy app. Again, March Madness is right around the corner. There's going to be so many great games that are happening. Men's basketball, women's basketball. And I mean, hey, it's already time to just go ahead and get into MLB season. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to have one heck of a season. Vinny Pasquantino, they're going to have one heck of a season. You can start taking them for – you can take Cole Reagans. He's opening for the Royals on opening day. How many strikeouts he's going to have. You can do bases. You can do hits. You can do everything. So me and Lexi will definitely be the Underdog app for the Royals. Shout out to the state of Missouri. If you're at home, you can do this from your couch, from your kitchen, from anywhere. And you can also do live picks as well as the game.
Right.
So, download the Underdog Fantasy app and make sure you use promo code Kingdoms Queens.
It's very user-friendly too. So just go have fun.
I use it all the time. Like, I know that football season is over, but like I'm still like, okay, let me go ahead. Like, I'm very excited for MLB. I'm
excited for us. Like, I've never done MLB, so I'm excited for us to do that. So we'll get into that. Yeah.
Especially because we'll get into it. But our pitching, like, I'm excited for the pitching. Bobby Witt Jr. is always good for a double, period. So, it's going to be really good. Shout out to that. So let's kind of get into really quickly some of the re-signings that the Chiefs have done and any of the tags that have went out. So the Chiefs have went ahead and tagged Trey Smith. We seen that happen last week. Basically, like, listen, we love you. We're going to try to work this out, but do not go talk to anybody else. So that's pretty much the tag that we got Trey Smith on right now.
If he does talk to anyone else and sign a deal elsewhere, they'd have to give us 2 first-round picks. So basically, we're going to keep Trey Smith.
Definitely not.
We just got to get, and I think per Nate Taylor, he said today they expect Trey to sign around the draft. So expect to see that around the draft. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, if you look at like last off season, that's kind of how like the trend went. They did. That's kind of how the trend went, right? First, we got Creed Humphrey done, and then we got Chris Jones done, and now this year it's like, okay, and then we got Noah Gray done literally the day of the home opener last year. I expect the Chiefs to kind of sprinkle that exact same way this year and next year.
Totally.
That is the reason why like this team is able to build the way that they are, especially with the young guys, because we're not throwing all these deals out at people at one time.
Right.
Like we're kind of seeing happen through the league right now. Like we don't have to do that. So I definitely think Trey Smith is going to get done very, very soon.
And I
feel like they're not necessarily in a rush because I think they know like where they're at and what they're doing. And it could be a possibility that they are trying to maybe free up some more space with some other players and maybe get some restructures in there. But I will say the faster they get Trey done, the faster they can start making other moves, i.e. Trent McDuffie.
That's the thing. So I'm kind of feeling like we're not going to do much more in free agency until the draft. I think that's kind of what that says. Is like, I think it says, but I think I just urge everyone to be patient with Veach. Like, he's earned his trust at this point. Like you gotta go with the flow a little bit, you know? Like
if you
we're gonna
I get that a lot of people are learning football now. This ain't new, y'all. This is how it's been for
this is how it
years and
goes.
years and years and years and years. You don't rush Brett Veach. You don't there's going to be people who leave this team every year that you are attached to. The Chiefs are not attached to them because it's a business.
It's a business.
So
they're only attached to like 3 or 4 people, maybe 5.
And if you're upset now, you're gonna hate next year. So
oh my God, it's gonna be
mentally preparing now for next year.
It's gonna be brutal because those are our guys.
Don't be surprised. Enjoy George Karlaftis. Let's just say that. Enjoy one more year in him because he probably will not be here next year.
Unless, well, we can get into that later, but we'll get into him later.
So we
Nick Bolton.
So
Nick Bolton, 3-year extension, $45 million. Love that. I'm totally good with that.
While everybody tried to say that I don't think people realize like what his job is. Let's talk about Nick Bolton as a linebacker and what his job is. He is the green dot, y'all. What does that mean?
He runs the defense. He runs the show. He calls the plays.
They yell in his ear every play and tell him how to line the whole entire defense.
He is extremely cerebral. He's Steve Spagnuolo's favorite person. Chris Jones has said that many times.
He lines the defense up every single game. Every game. And if you're out of place, he's going to tell you. That is what he does. Now, what happened is Nick Bolton got hurt last season and Drew Tranquill had to step in that role, and he did a great job, and that made y'all think that Nick Bolton didn't need to be here. That is not what Drew Tranquill should be doing. You need to be lining up on the other side as a linebacker and stopping a gap, please. This is what he does. This is what he did at Mizzou. This is what he's done his whole entire career in the NFL. If you have ever listened to Nick Bolton speak, he talks so fast. It's like your podcast is on like 1.5. That's how he talks, period.
And it's very just straight to the point and serious. Like it's never.
That's like getting rid of. That's like getting rid of Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey makes sure the ball always gets to Patrick, right? Mm-hmm. Nick Bolton always makes sure that the other 10 guys around him are lined up correctly.
Right.
So,
and to do that,
importance of his role
in a Spags defense, that's very difficult. Like, thank you, Nick.
And think about offenses that just go, they don't huddle, they just go.
Yeah.
A lot of offenses do that, especially against not only Kansas City, but just teams in general, because they're trying to get the defense to jump off line so they can get the flag, so they can get the first down. Or they do the hard count, right? When you have guys like Nick Bolton, this is how you stay in line and in order. And they all understand his, what's the word I'm looking for? Delivery. That's not the word I'm looking for, but they all understand his delivery already. So they kind of know
his cadences kind of thing.
Yes, they understand his cadence. So they kind of know what they're looking for already. So people need to realize the importance of Nick Bolton on this team and what he did. And if we're going to go back and talk about Mecole Hardman in the Super Bowl and how he scored the winning touchdown, let's not forget how Nick Bolton technically had 2 pick sixes in a Super Bowl also. Like, let's not forget that either, and the importance of what he did there. So,
and I think it like speaks volumes where one of the best defensive coordinators to ever do the job, and Steve Spagnuolo, his favorite person is Nick Bolton. Like, he did not want to lose him. That is his guy. I think that should speak volumes to Chiefs fans. So enjoy Nick Bolton. Have him for 3 more years.
They have their guys. Let's just say that. But he definitely got a Veach contract. 3 years.
He did.
2 year out. So,
but I think he also knows, like, he probably saw what Willie Gay just went through, where he just got a 1-year deal on and I think Nick Bolton would get more than that. But I feel like you see how the market works. You know what you're getting on certain teams, and I mean, it's probably worth staying here. So anyway,
and he'll probably get another ring. Hollywood Brown, very happy that the Chiefs decided to bring him back on a 1-year, $11 million deal. I think that was one person I was kind of pounding the table for in this offseason that I wanted to really get back into the receiver room. So, especially because I feel like he didn't get a true chance last season getting hurt. So, very happy to get Hollywood Brown back into this offense. He's already dynamic. He now understands the system for a full year. And he's really able to go out there and really kick it into a high gear because this will be year 2 of Hollywood Brown. So, this is going to be great.
I like that we get to have some consistency now in our wide receiver room. I feel like the last few years have just been so like, oh, put this person in, plug this person in, plug this person in. We just kind of go with it. But it's like there's no consistency where if you look around the league, a lot of these receiver rooms have a lot of consistency. So I really like that we brought him back and we get another year. Like you said, he was injured. He didn't get the full thing with Patrick Mahomes. So I think bringing him back is huge. And then same with Juju, we were signed for another year. And I think he's a great part in our defense. He doesn't have to be wide receiver 1. He's going to be 4, maybe 5, depending what we do in the draft. But I think Juju is same kind of thing. Not that I think he and Hollywood play different roles, but it's like that's just really, really good depth to have. Someone that works well in our offense, someone that's selfless, will do well with Mahomes, and he trusts them. So I think both of those are huge additions.
Juju catches everything. Yes. Shout out to the Chiefs for re-signing James Winchester. He's the GOAT.
Yes.
So, that we were able to get him
our
back.
Long snapper.
I know a lot of people are like, who? Just know that he's the GOAT. He's the
GOAT. Look him up. James Winchester.
We signed Gardner Minshew and Bailey Zappi.
Wait, you skipped our guy. Or did you want to bring him up later?
No, I didn't. Oh,
Kareem?
I'll bring him up later. Well,
okay.
Yeah, I'll bring him up later. We signed Gardner Minshew and Bailey Zappi, and I hate it. The Bailey Zappi thing, I'm not. Bailey Zappi is always on and off this team, so whatever. Fine, welcome back. Gardner Minshew, I hate.
I know you are not a fan of it. I really don't mind. I'm kind of indifferent on it.
Cooper Rush was right there. Cooper Rush was right. Drew Lock was right there.
I don't know.
So here's my reasoning. Yeah. Gardner Minshew, he real swaggy and he do what he want. He a vibe. I totally get it. He's another energy. That's why people like him. Fine. Cooper Rush can prove with the Cowboys and went and just signed with the Ravens.
Yeah. Which I don't even know if he fits their style so much, but okay.
It doesn't matter. He can win 4 to 5 games if the quarterback goes out. If Cooper Rush ain't show us nothing in Dallas,
listen,
that gets hurt every single year, and he goes in and wins at least 4 to 5 games.
Gardner Minshew can play. He played for the Colts when did Anthony Richardson go out?
Football.
He's played for a lot of teams.
A whole lot.
He fits some schemes well. He fits some schemes terribly. He did not do well with the Raiders too much last year. But the one thing I do like is that they are paying his salary this year, and we don't really have to pay him. So
great.
Thank you, Raiders, for our backup quarterback, I guess.
I guarantee you that's the only reason why we went to get him.
Yeah. Listen.
We ain't got no money to give. I hate it. Very excited that the Chiefs brought back Kareem Hunt on another weird deal. I figured that they were going to do something there. When I seen Samaje Perine not come back, I was like, okay. And I think that the Chiefs are still going to draft a running back. Well, let's kind of put all these people in the same spot. So the Chiefs went out and got Elijah Mitchell from the Niners. He's here on a 1-year deal, 2.5. So we have him. We brought Kareem back, who is going to be that great veteran presence, and we still have Isaiah Pacheco. So I really like where the running back.
I really love it.
They can definitely still go get that 4th depth piece in the draft, but I like what I'm seeing. So Elijah Mitchell is younger than Samaje Perine. He was very good with the Niners last year. I don't want to say very good, but he was good with the Niners last year. And I think that he can definitely make an impact on
Elijah Mitchell is phenomenal. It's just that he has problems staying healthy. So I think that's why you get depth, is like you get these guys on cheaper contracts, you give them a chance and then kind of just see how it plays out. But I think like Kareem for only $1.5 million, like we had to have
Why not still play football?
I mean, we had to have this depth last season, and I still think we can go out and draft a guy too. So I think Carson Steele is going to be fighting for a roster spot this season. I don't think it's going to be easy. But
yeah, I don't think he's on this team.
Yeah.
He might be. Actually, let me not say that. I do think he's on this team. I think he's a practice squad guy.
Yeah, I think he'll probably fall to the practice squad.
Unless somebody picks him up on waivers, which is a possibility.
Or injuries or whatever. But
and that's fine. Because he technically shouldn't have took on the role that he took on last year.
No.
It's just life started real fast.
Yeah, our team, it was just a jumbled mess of offense last year. So.
Okay, the Chiefs signed Jalen Moore, left tackle. Okay.
2 years, $30 million.
All right. Like,
I hope it works.
The Chiefs have to get to a point, and it's probably going to be next year. They got to get a rookie, and they got to get him developed. So me and Lexi kind of started talking about this at the beginning of the show about how there's some people, offensive coaches, that we were like, probably shouldn't be on this roster. What they did to Kingsley Suamataia last year was not good at all. You went out and got this first-round talent, and you could not develop him. And then you pulled him out of the game out of the season. You pulled him out of the season because you couldn't figure out a way to develop him, and now you want him to be a guard.
Yeah.
That can never, ever, ever happen again. So if the Chiefs are going to draft a left tackle in this draft, which my personal opinion, I don't think that they should, because I don't think there are any that are good enough to go get. I think every left tackle that's out there is tiny, and they would probably be more so of like a guard instead of a tackle. And if you're going to move Kingsley Suamataia over to guard, there is no point. Hey, Roscoe. There is no point in you going out and getting another guard. So it's either go get a great left tackle, which I think that they realized that there aren't any, which is why they went and got Jalen Moore, which is totally fine on a 2-year deal with a 1 year out. It is what it is.
And I feel like there's just like not a lot of options. And we said that for a few weeks now. It's like there's not a lot of options. This wasn't our year.
We said that in the season that there weren't a lot of options when we were desperate week 14.
Because the thing is, like, if you have a franchise left tackle, you're probably not going to trade him, especially to the Chiefs. So unless you're like in full rebuild and need to get rid of whoever that is, but that was not the case for like anyone except maybe the Texans, and the Texans were not about to trade us their left tackle. So that was, it's just like,
even though, that's another conversation. So we'll see. I wish you the best of luck, Jay. We also went out and got another corner. We got Christian Fulton. You said what? The left side of the line.
I hope Jalen works out. But
I would feel better if Tooney was there, but he's not.
Right. So, yeah.
We just gotta go with what we got. Jalen is gonna have to come in here, and he's gonna have to be a vet. You have to be a vet immediately on day one, because the person to the right of you is a rookie, technically, because he only played a game and a half last year. So he's technically still a rookie. If you look at it that way.
Exactly.
So I think it'll be fine. We'll see what he does. Christian Fulton, we went out and got another corner, which I think is great, because we definitely need a cornerback depth, because
I'm excited about this one. I am. I like it. I like the signing.
Okay. We'll see how he does, right? I think that as long as the Chiefs have Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson can stay healthy, and we know that Najee Johnson is going to be out there too, and Christian Fulton with him. And I think that Joshua Williams, they're going to probably keep him in the same type of role that he was in last year. I think it's going to be interesting to see how those three rotate. Christian Fulton, Najee Johnson, Joshua Williams. Interested to see that. Because
I think it helps open up Trent McDuffie back to where he needs to be.
But I think that happens with Jalen Watson anyway. I think that happens with Jalen anyway. He just needs to stay healthy.
I think we just need, that's the thing, is we need stronger depth. So I think that's what this signing does for us, is now we have better depth at least at that position, because that's what we lacked last year. We lacked it for sure.
Right.
So
the goal is for him to always be on the inside. He's too little to be on the outside. And then we went and signed. So I missed this completely. And this is how I know I've been busy. We went and signed Jerry Tillery, another defensive tackle. I don't know. I missed this completely.
It wasn't a very
when did that
no one made a big deal of it, I guess. But I think it's, considering Chris Jones is our only guy on D-line right now, we need some depth. So welcome.
I like it. I don't hate it. I just didn't realize it was a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, when did that happen? Okay, I don't hate this. So I don't hate this at all. I think it's great, especially for him to be able to come in here, and it would be nice if we could figure out a way to keep Charles Omenihu, but have him and Chris Jones just kind of teaching each other. Like,
would be
having
nice.
those two together, I think it's going to be really good. So I missed it completely, but when I heard about it, I was like, okay, I'm very happy there.
Yeah.
And I still think that we're just going to get more defense in the draft.
Definitely. And that's the good news about the draft. It's very deep at edge and tackle. So that's great news for us. But yeah, I think that's a great depth move. He's definitely played against us and made some moves on Patrick Mahomes and such. So I like it. I'd say welcome.
I think the biggest conversation is the Trent McDuffie one, and we're not going to go late into it because we're already 90 minutes.
I know.
But Trent McDuffie is kind of like the biggest thing right now. Technically, Trent does not need to be paid until next summer, guys. Technically, Trent does not have to be paid until
He's
next.
Still on contract.
Not this
and what you could do now, this would be
it's just a matter of how much debt the Chiefs want to be in paying.
Right. And they could take his 5th-year option next year and do it that way. I don't think they do, though. I think
they could franchise tag him.
I think they end up,
but they're
from
not.
what we're hearing, Nate Taylor on, we already shouted him out. What we're hearing is that it'll probably happen this summer. Derek
right
before the season, kind of like Noah Grayish last year. Or Creed Humphrey was right before the season last year.
It's gonna probably be like Creed,
Creed. Yeah.
Which probably like Creed. Like around training.
I don't know why everyone's so confused, because Brett Veach said that in his press conference during the combine. He literally said, he's like, Trent will come probably like in the summer. So just wait. We got to be patient. He's going to get paid. He's going to be paid well. He's our next focus on defense after Chris Jones. Once he retires, it's going to be like
Trent. Like 2 big guys every single year, y'all.
So why not? I mean, I don't
every single year. But I mean, the thing is the faster that they get Trey Smith signed, then they can start working numbers for Trent. Now, again, it's smart to pay Trent early because you don't want to have so much. Here's the thing. Trent McDuffie has not only played lights out for 3 years, he's been incredibly healthy for 3 years. He's been a leader in the whole entire secondary.
Yeah.
He's had to be able to flex inside and out and lead a whole bunch of guys. So when you look at Trent McDuffie and the role that he has, he's worth every penny. He's definitely going to be top of the market. Now, the fact that the cornerback market keeps freaking resetting is where everybody is starting to have that little bit of anxiety. He's going to get 30 or a little over 30 average per year.
He's going to be right in there, and that's just how the market is right now. And we knew that was coming. Yeah, it's not some shock.
I didn't think 30 was coming. I knew it was coming until I seen who just got paid?
Stingley.
Yeah, 89 million guaranteed. I was like, oh wow.
You got a nice contract. I mean, it's gonna be expensive.
Like, oh wow. So yeah, Trent's definitely gonna get his bag. It's just a matter of how quickly the Chiefs can get it done. And if it's this year, then they could probably get him at a good rate. If Trent McDuffie goes out and has another outstanding season, the price goes up.
Yeah.
So it's all on the Chiefs. I 100% think they're not gonna ever trade him. So the people who keep saying that he's gonna get traded, he's one of those 5 in the team that you gotta keep. He's your if you pay Creed Humphrey because of how valuable he is to Patrick Mahomes, you pay Trent McDuffie because of how valuable he is to Chris Jones. So
right.
those two on the defense, that's your literally number 2 best defensive player when you think of after Chris Jones. So they're definitely, especially because it's not like we're paying a safety.
Right.
So yeah. So
no, like, and if we had an incredible safety, then I guess you would, but he is our incredible draft pick that Veach picked that you are going to pay. So like,
I do think they need to pay him before Sauce gets paid.
I don't know that that'll happen, but you just got to take it for what it is.
Sauce is gonna get a lot of money. He was not that great last year.
No, he wasn't, but he will get
his name and his career.
Yeah,
that boy is gonna get paid. So I do think, like, if the Chiefs needed to do it, they should probably do it before that. But I also know the Chiefs, and they're gonna be like, this dude got 2 Super Bowls. He deserves to be the highest paid.
Yeah.
Any Chiefs player on the brink of a contract right now deserves to be the highest paid. That's the problem. So they may wait out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not Brett. Shout out to me for not being the GM.
We'll let Brett Veach handle that. It's not my job to stress about it. I don't get paid to stress about it. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. The draft we will get into another week because it's coming up. And
but we've said a few nuggets already. I know for sure. I think that this is going to be a heavy defensive draft, and there's going to be maybe a couple of offensive pieces. I do think that we will trade up with some of them 7s now. I just don't know what round, even if it's the 6th round or the 5th round.
Right.
But yeah, that is what I think.
I think that's it. We got Boulevard.
Shout out to Boulevard Brewery. I am drinking water today. Very long.
I'm enjoying it. They have a hard tea. It's a peach tea, which I don't think many people know. It's one of their quirk drinks. And it's absolutely delicious, actually. So, yeah. But check them out. We love Boulevard Brewery. They've had us in for some events with Creed Humphrey, and we love him. And Trey Smith and our O-line guys, they all love Boulevard. And they're just a phenomenal company. It's locally brewed. Delicious drinks from all types of different things. Great beers. Pretty much every type of beer you could imagine they have on hand. Plus seltzers, plus non-alcoholic beers.
If you're going out to the Royals game, they have a whole Boulevard stand.
There you go.
Like a whole building. And it's just Boulevard.
It's delicious.
It's mainly quirk, but you get the drill.
And this is only 100 calories, so we love to see it.
Oh, shout out to that. That's amazing. Well, we're getting out of here, guys. Sorry that we took a week off and we came back this week. So glad to be here. And I think that we're having a show next week. We'll get into that as we get closer.
See, I'm not sure yet.
But shout out to y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you are currently listening to us on YouTube, shout out to the almost 1,200 people that are listening in right now. Please make sure that you go like this episode right now. Hit the like button on YouTube. Comment and say something nice and friendly about today's episode. If you are on Twitter, please make sure that you retweet. If you are listening on any other channel, shout out to you and thank you for tuning in with us. Make sure you come back and listen to us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that you are following us on every single outlet. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple. We are everywhere. We're everywhere. So please make sure that you are following the Kingdom Queens, and we'll get back to you next week.
Love y'all. Bye.